Namaste, I am your Vastu consultant Girish Agrawal. Today we are going to be talking about an important subject, and that is how to select a property on the basis of Vastu. Buying a property or leasing a property is definitely a major decision that has wide-ranging effects on you, your family, maybe for generations to come. So let's do it right. I have noticed that the awareness about Vastu is growing as more and more people are experiencing the benefits of Vastu. When they are acquiring a new property, they want to make sure that it is Vastu compliant. Unfortunately, the builder market has still not woken up enough to this, and finding a Vastu-filled property may need some patience and perseverance on your part. But the good news is that as the demand for this increases, more and more construction houses are inviting professionals like myself for training their people, and they are trying to build more Vastu compliant homes. Before we get into the important features of Vastu, it is key to understand the correct directions. If you have not already watched my video on this subject, then please watch it. The link is in the description. Basically, the directions are to be seen from the center of the property, and whatever decision you make should be on the basis of actual compass readings, not approximate, not on the basis of the road, but the actual compass readings that you get. So now let's get into the specific areas that are more important. Let's begin with the northeast. The northeast part of the home is extra sensitive. It is from here that a positive flow of energy in the entire space can be created. So any disturbance in the northeast is not acceptable. The northeast should ideally be bright, clean, light, and free of clutter, heavy storage, any polluting elements, etc. Definitely, the northeast must not have a toilet, kitchen, heavy storage, heavy columns, etc. If there is a toilet in the northeast, that can be reason enough to reject the property. So the next important part that you must look at is the center or the Brahmastan of the property. This is roughly 1/9 of the total area of the property. This also is called the Nabhi or the navel of the property, and from here energy radiates to the entire space. So any disturbance here could potentially disturb many aspects. Things that must absolutely not be there are underground tanks, septic tanks, large columns, pits, shafts, ducts, toilets, drains. None of this should be there in the center of the property. It should be free, clean, empty, if possible, open to sky, well lit, not heavy. But today I am seeing, especially in a lot of larger layouts, that somehow the powder room or a duct or a shaft is planned in the center or the Brahmastan of the property. This is not healthy. If you come across a property like this which has a toilet or a shaft in the center, do avoid it. Another very crucial aspect to choosing a property is looking at the main entrance, and this is a much discussed topic while choosing a property. Very often I see people are just looking at the facing of the property, so whether when you go out it is east or west, and they feel it is okay. But this is not the correct way to analyze the entrances. I have a separate detailed video on this as well. Do watch it. The link is in the description. But largely speaking, all directions have some good sectors and some not so good sectors for a main door. But towards the north and the east, and even to an extent to the west, even if the entrance is not in such a great sector, it can still be treated to reduce the bad effects. One area where the entrance should absolutely not be is the southwest, and many parts of the south direction as well. So if you find that the main entrance of the property is towards the southwest with respect to the center, then you can safely avoid it. Even south entrances, there are some that are not good and do not even respond too well to treatments. But that said, it is not right to reject all south-facing properties. There are some good sectors or pad in which an entrance can be very auspicious even on the south side. But to correctly analyze this, because there is no room for error, I would recommend that you take professional help if you're buying, especially a south-facing property. Another aspect that I see sometimes even Vastu consultants do not consider is the sources of daylight in the property. So we are talking about windows, balconies and terraces. Even these have norms in Vastu, and loosely speaking, prefer properties which have more daylight coming in from the north and the east directions. This is considered to be auspicious. It is not that you should not have windows to the south and to the west, but it should be less than the windows in the north and the east. But at least there should be some window to the north or to the east. Avoid homes that have balconies only to the south or the southwest. It has to be a healthy balance where daylight is coming in from the north and the east as well. If the property you are acquiring is not newly constructed and has been previously occupied or used, then it is a good idea to even try and get the history of the property. You must definitely avoid properties where unnatural deaths, suicides, or criminal activities have taken place. In the first place, why did the property attract such happenings? In a second, while things may look okay, there is an energy imprint that may be left. So do consider the history of the property as well. If you're buying land or a plot or a standalone property like a bungalow or a factory shed, then there are more considerations. The slope of the land should be auspicious. The land should not slope down towards the south or the west, definitely not towards the southwest. It should be lower in the north or the east or the northeast side only. Besides that, you must also look at the surroundings. If the property is situated in close proximity of a cemetery or a burning ground or very large public buildings like a law court, police station or jail, even those should be avoided. Besides that, the shape of the property should be as regular as possible and not have too many cuts and extensions or weird shapes where the corners are not at 90 degrees. Continuing with standalone properties or land that you might be acquiring, any property that is at the top of a T-junction, it is also called a road hit, is something that should be avoided in most cases. Even if you are considering it, certain directions may be okay for certain people. Do seek professional guidance. Besides that, corner properties on some corners, for example, if the road is to the south and to the west, so it's on a southwest corner, may do well for the initial years but later can give trouble. Again, seek professional guidance for this. Besides that, if the main entrance of the property is obstructed due to a pole, a tree, a passing drain or something, then again, this is something that is called Dwarved and needs to be analyzed correctly. Again, do seek professional guidance for this. Ideally, the pathway to the entrance itself should be free of any obstruction as you come in and go out. Through this video, I have tried to tell you some of the more important aspects of what to look for in a property, what is good, what you must absolutely reject. But acquiring a property is a big decision and it impacts your life and those of your colleagues and family for maybe years to come. It is good to seek professional advice for this. But with the help of this video, I do hope that you can filter out many properties and the absolute no's like a southwest slope or a southwest entrance or a disturbed Brahmastan or a toilet in the northeast. You can omit or reject those properties on your own so that when you approach a professional, you would have filtered the properties and the probability that a property that you have chosen will get approved and thereby save time and investment for you will increase. I do hope you find this video useful. For more such videos on Vastu, do subscribe to my channel Vastu with Girish.